All right, guys, this NFL offseason continues its trend of absolute insanity. So let's talk about the Chiefs signing a new wide receiver, Deshaun Watson landing with the team, Baker Mayfield's next destination, and more. But first, how about those? Before we get started, if you want to check out a story in particular, timestamps and related articles will be in the description down below. So make sure to check that out. Subscribe for more daily news updates about the Chiefs and the rest of the NFL, and let's get into it. Okay, the Chiefs have had several changes over the past week or so, and here's an overview of everything that's happened so far. They franchise tagged Orlando Brown Jr. and are more than likely working a long-term deal with him, as well as working on a long-term extension with Tyreek Hill. That's coming soon. Cornerback Charvarius Ward signed a 3-year deal with the 49ers. Center Austin Blythe is now with the Seahawks, and wide receiver Byron Pringle is leaving for the Bears on a 1-year deal. Pringle actually tweeted this out yesterday. "Forever thankful for the opportunity the Chiefs gave me. Blessed to have been part of a great organization for the past 4 years. Thank you to my coaches, teammates, and fans." Go get that money, Pringle. You earned it, man. And then here are some notables still left in free agency. Safety Tyrann Mathieu and running backs Jerick McKinnon and Darrell Williams, among others. But these guys are still on the market currently, and yesterday Darrell Williams tweeted this out. He said, "How I'm feeling right now," with this video attached. I sort of take it either two ways. He's frustrated, or he's just feeling unstoppable. So it could be good news, or he is not happy with how things are going currently in free agency. But hopefully we see him back in red and gold next season. And then the Chiefs brought back QB Chad Henne, offensive tackle Andrew Wiley, and fullback Michael Burton on 1-year deals. They restructured Frank Clark's contract to free up cap space, signed former Texans safety Jarran Reed for 3 years, $31.5 million. And just yesterday, in the biggest Chiefs news by far, defensive lineman Jarran Reed visited with the Bengals. All right, yeah, it's not really the biggest news, but he really did visit with the Bengals yesterday. Matt Connor of Arrowhead Addict says this about Jarran Reed. "Here's some good news for the Bengals or any other interested team. Reed comes with a history of being disruptive as an interior player while simultaneously holding up well against the run. He also played all 17 games for the Chiefs and should remain a very reliable player in terms of availability. He also came on stronger as the season went on, and he adjusted to the team and or had healthy teammates around him." So yeah, I don't think he's going to be back. He didn't really do as much, I think, as the Chiefs had hoped for. And Brett Veach did say, "Hey, we're revamping this D-line." And Jarran Reed basically tweeted goodbye like 6 weeks ago. I covered that quite a while ago. He said it's been a great time with the Chiefs, but on to the next chapter. So not really updated news, but that happened yesterday. The real bigger news, which I did cover yesterday already, is this. The Chiefs signed former Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to a 1-year deal worth up to $10.75 million. Looks like it's about $3 million on the base value, with the rest of the $10.75 million being max value based on incentives. Sources say from Ian Rappaport. I'd be curious to know what those incentives are, because that means up to 70% of his contract comes from those incentives. So interesting indeed. Taylor Bisciotti says that Juju chose the Chiefs because, and quote, "I am going to play with a future Hall of Fame QB, to play with one of the best to ever do it. My goal as a player is to win, so I'm going to KC with the hopes of winning a Super Bowl." Braden Turner on Twitter says the last time Juju Smith-Schuster played alongside a true legit number one wide receiver, he went for 111 receptions for 1,426 yards and 7 TDs in a full season. He's also 2 years removed from a season where he had 97 catches and 9 TDs and had 13 receptions for 157 yards and a TD in the Steelers' lone playoff game. You're crazy if you don't think that he's talented. Mahomes tweeted out in response to Juju coming to KC saying, "Turn me up, brother." And Juju responds saying, "Can't wait to get after it, my boy." Are you guys excited about the Juju Smith-Schuster signing? If so, make sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments down below. It looks like he may be switching to number 9, which he teased via his Snapchat page yesterday. He's previously 19 on the Steelers, but 9 is the number he wore in college for the USC Trojans and Currently on the Chiefs, Josh Gordon is wearing number 19, so Juju may be number 9. So yeah, it's really crazy here in the wild AFC West. You have Russell Wilson and defensive end Randy Gregory added to the Broncos. The Raiders signed wide receiver Devontae Adams, extended Max Crosby, and brought on pass rusher Chandler Jones. And the Chargers brought in Khalil Mack and cornerback J.C. Jackson on defense. And don't forget, they also have Joey Bosa on their D-line as well. So let's take a quick glance as to why these teams are doing as much as they can to strengthen their teams and fortify their defense. It's really for one main reason, and it's to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and in particularly to combat their powerful offense. You have Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, and Travis Kelce, as well as one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL. So my question to you all is this: who or what position should we go after next? Is a trade coming? I have a gut feeling a trade is coming for someone on the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully the D-line, time will tell, but I'm sure at least some of you guys are excited that the Chiefs have made some moves. In other NFL news, earlier this week, the Chicago Bears agreed to sign defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi to a 3-year, $40.5 million deal. Well, they have actually retracted that offer because of a failed physical per the team. The Bears GM Ryan Poles issued a public statement on why, and apparently his injury is worse than they thought, and they are moving on to former Chargers defensive tackle Justin Jones. And then the Bills GM is not happy with the Commanders prying J.D. McKissic away after he agreed to a deal. A lot is going on this year with players that agree to one team and end up signing to another. It's not against the rules by any means, but the Bills GM just said it's an ethical thing among GMs that you do not do. He said it complicates his relationship with the Washington Commanders when he was asked about it, which, yeah, it's interesting to me because, like, McKissic didn't sign any contract. He did agree to a deal, but then his own team heard about it and just offered a match, and he chose to stay at home where he already has been playing. So I don't see the problem with that, but what do you guys think? Is the Bills GM Brandon Beane being a baby or what? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one because several players this offseason have done this. And then the Colts former safety George Odum is signing with the 49ers for 3 years and $10.95 million. The Panthers signed DJ Moore to a 3-year extension worth $61.884 million. The Patriots have agreed to terms with their own linebacker Jawan Bentley on a 2-year contract worth a maximum of $9 million. Former Colts defensive end Al Quadin Muhammad reached agreement on a 2-year, $10 million deal. Muhammad will reunite in Chicago with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. Eagles defensive tackle Fletcher Cox will return to Philly. And then the biggest news by far yesterday, Deshaun Watson, after initially calling the Browns GM Andrew Berry to let him know that they were not moving forward with the Browns and he was going to sign with a different team, he had a change of heart and called Berry back on Thursday to let him know he indeed wanted to come to Cleveland. So the Texans are trading Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. Breaking, huge blockbuster trade, all that good stuff. And here's what the Browns are giving up for Watson: a first-round pick in 2022, 2023, and 2024, a third-round pick in 2023, and also a fourth-round pick in 2024. And listen to this. He's getting a record 5-year deal worth $230 million. And guess how much of that $230 million is guaranteed? Oh, you want to know? 100%. Yeah, that's right. All $230 million is guaranteed. This is a record for most guaranteed money in a contract for an average of $46 million per year, which puts him number 2 in yearly average behind Aaron Rodgers, who is at $50 million per year, and slightly ahead of Mahomes, who is at $45 million per year. And get this, for the 2022 season, $45 million of his $46 million salary is a signing bonus. And this is what that means. His base salary is roughly $1 million, and if he gets suspended next season, which he most likely will, he's only going to lose money out of his base salary, approximately $57,500 per game that he's suspended. And some of you may be wondering, Cole, why are you assuming he will be suspended? He wasn't indicted. Yeah, that's true, but he still has 22 civil suits pending against him, 10 criminal complaints filed, and he's still under investigation by the NFL. Brian McCarthy, an NFL spokesman, said this in a statement regarding Watson. Any transaction would have no effect on the NFL's ongoing and comprehensive investigation of the serious allegations against Deshaun Watson, nor would it affect his status under the collective bargaining agreement and the personal conduct policy. If the league's investigation determines that Watson violated the personal conduct policy, discipline may be imposed pursuant to the policy and the CBA. Remember, both Ben Roethlisberger and Ezekiel Elliott were never found guilty in their cases, and they were still suspended for 6 games each. So Watson is more than likely going to get suspended next season at some point, which is why it's a big deal that so much of his contract is guaranteed and his base salary is only $1 million next year out of his $46 million. It's insanity. So yeah, Watson to the Browns, and that means Baker Mayfield gets his wish and he's going to be traded. Where? Well, according to this article from Cleveland.com, a source told them that Mayfield's first choice of a new home is the Indianapolis Colts, and that the Browns would try to help him find a good landing spot. He was never part of the offer to the Texans from the start, and CBS Sports' Josina Anderson reported on Friday that the Seahawks reached out about Mayfield. So, interesting developments there. We will see where Mayfield will end up. He's currently rehabbing his non-throwing shoulder from a surgery on his labrum, so I'm sure that has to play some effect on his trade value, at least somewhat. And regarding the rest of the teams that were trying to hone in on Watson as their QB, the Atlanta Falcons are turning their attention to Matt Ryan, making him feel wanted while he considers his options. The Texans say they are likely going to use all these extra draft picks to build around QB Davis Mills, and Jameis Winston is now expected to be back in play for the Saints. Basically, it's a bit of a frenzy for the rest of the teams, as I'm sure they all really wanted Watson, but be assured that I will keep you all updated every step of the way with more daily news like this. It really has been a blast covering all of this craziness for you all, and hopefully you have enjoyed listening and watching as much as I have enjoyed making this content. I will be back tomorrow with more, so subscribe if you're new, and check out this video if you haven't seen it from yesterday covering more daily news. So until next time, let's go. How about those